Hi everybody, my name is B. Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I'm doing something slightly different today, and that is a ranking of Red Velvet's Korean title tracks. Yay! I love talking about music nearly as much as I love music itself, and music itself is like my favorite thing in the world, so I really wanted to find a way to talk more about music. And another thing that I love very, very much, obviously, is Red Velvet. Red Velvet has been with me from practically the very beginning of my K pop journey, so it just felt right to start this endeavor of talking more about music by talking more about Red Velvet's discography. That being said, I do think my opinions, and that's purely what this is a ranking completely based on my own enjoyment, nothing else, are at times pretty unpopular, so proceed with caution to make this sound like extra dramatic. It's really not that serious, it's just a silly little ranking. Let's get started. So, number 21, Ice Cream Cake. This is the one song on this list that I genuinely dislike. Everything that's going to come after this one, with like one exception, is going to be a song that I think is genuinely a very good song, if not a great song or a masterpiece. But this one I really dislike. And that has nothing to do with the song itself, but rather with the fact that I have a couple music pet peeves that make it very hard for me to like a song if they appear. And those are in order of how much they bug me. Number one, repetition. Number two, lost or untapped potential, and number three, artificial sounding production choices, with like the small addendum of number four, kind of sorta rapping. I just prefer singing over rapping. Rapping isn't really something that I vibe with very much, and well, listening to that list, while I wouldn't say there's any lost potential to Ice Cream Cake, there is certainly a lot of repetition, a lot of rapping, and a lot of like artificial production effects, and just it doesn't work for me. Stuff like that very, very rarely works for me. There are a couple things that I appreciate about this song though, and those are number one, I love that Ice Cream Cake is basically the introduction to Red Velvet's particular brand of creepiness. If you think about the la 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 sound, for example, that sounds, I don't know, like part of a creepy children's rhyme or something like that. And I love it. I love that particular brand of creepiness that Red Velvet often displays within their discography. It's one of my favorite things about them. And number two, the final part of the song we just listened to, I just think it's really satisfying how they're, I don't know, almost singing themselves into a frenzy. Like the energy is so high in that song. It's great. It's simply great. And I really, really, really like that about it. Number 20, Happiness. I really like Happiness. It's a fun song, it's a catchy song. Wendy's Shine on Me is phenomenal. Imagine debuting with that. She was so iconic. That part is so iconic. I love it so, so much. And there are some really, really cool sections in the instrumental. Like it starts muffled and then gradually opens up to like a clear sounding instrumental. I really, really love that. And I think those parts build the tension very nicely. So yeah, that's Happiness. Fun song, good song. If this wasn't Red Velvet's discography, probably a top 10 song, but because it's Red Velvet, I can't put it higher than that. But I really like this song. We have now reached the songs that I genuinely all really like. Number 19, Power Up. I do love how much this song sounds like a video game soundtrack, like the 8-bit sound of the instrumental. I really think this is like an underrepresented genre in K-pop in general because, I don't know, I like it. It's fun, it's quirky. I think it would go well with a lot of K-pop releases, so I'm glad that we have this song to represent it. And the lyrics tie in nicely too, you know, singing about powering up. That is a core game mechanic in a lot of games after all, even though technically they're singing about like hot summer days and stuff. I just think it's neat. Wendy's pre-chorus bit is also really nice, the part right before the first chorus, but I also simply think that they have a lot of more interesting songs. Also, the song is pretty repetitive, and ironically, I'm going to repeat that quite a bit during this video that bugs me. So yeah, because of that, I can't put Power Up much higher, but I really like it. Number 18, Dum Dum. This one actually had to grow on me because, you guessed it, of the repetition. I do love, and I have always loved the Michael Jackson rap part though. It's just the perfect balance of silly and catchy and exactly what K-pop does best. So I've always been enamored with that particular part, and I listen to that quite a lot, and obviously not in isolation. So we have that part to thank for the fact that I actually nowadays do like the song. Number 17, Feel My Rhythm. See, this is where I think it gets pretty much very unpopular. It's just, I have a really weird and also weirdly complicated relationship with this song. As in, it's been 3 years and I still don't know if I like the song. On the one hand, the song is genuinely like artistically brilliant. I appreciate so many things about this song. I love what they do with the sample, how they incorporate it and how it influences the rest of the song, everything that they do, you know, the double time, the key change transitions, the Baroque tuning, all of these things. It's so cool to see. But on the other hand, on like the more emotional side of things, I'm very, very used to listening to this song, you know, Johann Sebastian Bach's Air on G string, played by like real life musicians on real instruments. And I guess I just expect certain things because of that. Number one, vibrato. Honestly, I have never encountered artificially produced vibrato that doesn't suck. It doesn't happen. And whenever strings are involved, like any type of string instrument, the vibrato is so beautiful that the fact that we don't have this kind of guts me, genuinely. And then number two, it kind of feels odd how clean the phrases cut off, the instrumental phrases, because if you have like a real life instrument, right, the instrument kind of reverberates at the end of a phrase. Even if you technically stopped playing, there's going to be like a little bit of a sound afterward, and that just doesn't happen here either, because again, it's not a real instrument, it's artificial. And I think that's just, it bugs me. It feels odd. It feels a little bit uncanny valley, and to this day, I guess I still haven't made peace with that. I don't know, and that is kind of the point. I don't know to this day how I should feel about this song, which is the reason I'm not putting it any higher on the list. I even contemplated putting this in the last place, but that doesn't really reflect how much I value and how genuinely impressed I am by the technical side of the song. Like, it is brilliant. It is such an amazing piece of art, genuinely, but I just don't know if I like it, and because of that, I just couldn't justify putting it any higher. So this one is an odd one, really. Number 16, Bad Boy. Okay, first things first, Seoggi's bridge is heaven. In general, when Seoggi, does the bridges, that's like my favorite thing in the entire world. Seoggi and bridges are just heaven. But I just wish the song had a little bit more energy and was building towards some sort of definitive peak, or just anything really. And in addition to that, I like the ambient sounds, the like walking sounds, the steps, in the context of the music video. But if you listen to the song in isolation, I don't think they make a lot of sense within this particular song. There are other songs where I do feel like they would have definitely added to the atmosphere. Like, you could easily explain them and they would have added to the creepiness of a song, like RBB or Peekaboo or Psycho. But within this particular song, outside of the music video, I just don't really see a reason for these ambient sounds to be included, with the exception of the siren sounds. Like, the sirens, they match this song perfectly. I do like the laid back seductiveness of the song though. Number 15, Chill Kill. Like many people, I was a little bit disappointed by the chorus, especially, the switch up. And that for me has to do a lot with like my second music pet peeve, the lost or wasted potential one. I like all of the individual parts of this song. I think they sound beautiful, both individually and together, but I really wish they would have doubled down on one or the other. It just, to me, it feels a bit less like one cohesive song and more like getting two different ones that were never fully realized, and I can't help but wonder what those two songs would have sounded like, if that makes sense. And that's just kind of unfortunate. That being said, the bridge is easily the most beautiful thing I have ever heard. Number 14, Oompa Oompa. Now, contrary to the lyrics, something unforgettable. I always, and I do mean always, forget about this song until it comes up in like a playlist or I purposefully go out of my way to listen to the album. And that is such a shame. And I genuinely wonder why, because I love this song so much. It's so fun that I was actually never even bothered by the repetitiveness of the song. Listening to this was just always pure joy. So I have no idea what's up with me when it comes to this song, but it keeps happening, as in I keep forgetting about this song, so I just can't justify putting it high even though I want to. Like, genuinely, if I could remember this song, for me this would be a top 10 Red Velvet song. Number 13, Birthday. I love the build up in this song. The tension in the pre-chorus is truly palpable, and the entire song in general is a masterclass when it comes to maintaining and building momentum and energy. But there are also so many teeny tiny details that are part of this song that I love. At the very beginning, you know, the intro bit of the song reminds me a little bit of old Hollywood studio intro sound bits, you know, like the 20th Century Fox bit or the Universal one or the Disney one or stuff like that. And it's great. I also love that there's a pause right before the final chorus, you know, after Joy says, I can make the beat go, because pauses are such a delicious way of building tension and they're way too underutilized. I love that there's a reference to Dalkomhan ice cream cake. I'm just a sucker for group referencing their own stuff. I eat that up every single time. But most of all, I love that there's such an incredible amount of variation between the different parts that I'm always able to find a new fascinating detail. It's so exciting. Number 12, Queendom. This was my first ever Red Velvet comeback, and I just have a soft spot because of that in my heart for this song. It's also just so fun and bright, and I know this doesn't really play into the ranking much, but I love the witchy music video. Yeri has like little cat footprints. How can you not love that? That is so cute. And it's also just nice to have a Red Velvet song that you can actually sing along to. Between you and me, I'm not Wendy, so this one works if I just want to have a nice karaoke session. Should this be this high up? Maybe not, but I love it this much. Number 11, Cosmic. The chorus just sounds positively glittery, and I love how Joy's soft voice sounds when she sings over that almost staccato-like instrumentation. That's the bit we just listened to, which in general is also just a really nice contrast if you compare it to the more flowy chorus. And that goes without saying at this point, at any point really, but Red Velvet equal queens of bridges. Number 10, Automatic. I love R&B Red Velvet. That's like my favorite genre of Red Velvet. They're so good at it. And my favorite part of this song in particular is the one where Wendy sings almost a cappella like over the like snapping as the only background instrumentation. It's so good. And the layering of their voices in this particular song is just art. They did a fantastic job with that. Number 9, Psycho. I really love this song, and I do think it deserves all of its flowers, plus the original visual line. That one's rightfully iconic, but one, do you remember this like fan version? The fan singing terribly off key, off pitch, of basically everything. That version, I don't know where it came from, TikTok maybe? I can't get that one out of my head, which is a shame. And number 2, I feel it's only fair if I'm ranking like the official audio version, which in this case means the CD version and not the music video version, and that does influence this quite a bit. Most of the time there is no real difference between those audio versions, but I'm pretty sure we all know that when it comes to Psycho, the music video had like added strings, extra strings as part of the instrumental. And now knowing that that is possible and having heard that version, I love that version. So the fact that the official version doesn't have those strings means I can't put it higher than this. Number 8, Really Bad Boy, RBB. Okay, there's one thing that I have to mention before I get into why I love this song, and that is I am ridiculously fond of themed K-pop albums. Be that a Christmas album or a Halloween album or a summer album, I don't care as long as it's themed, I am excited. But what is even more exciting, both in regards to RBB, but also just when it comes to music in general, is the fact that I view music as just another language, which means you can tell stories through the power of music alone. Granted, that isn't something that happens terribly often within pop music. In pop music, other things are often much more important than paying attention to musical storytelling, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. And RBB is like the prime example of it happening, and that is so freaking cool. So let's talk details. I love Wendy going off in like the latter half of the song. Her ad-libs are just so good. I love the call and response section when they do the like, oh my god, he's a really bad boy, and then another member repeats those parts. That is so cool. Number 3, singing over rapping. That is one of the few instances where I genuinely enjoy rap, and I'm so happy that we have something like this within this song, where, you know, Yeri raps and then Wendy sings on top of her. It just provides such a nice contrast. Number 4, and this is where we get into the musical storytelling aspect, I love the screams. The screams and Wendy's high notes, which kind of sound like they're imitating screaming, they remind me so much of horror movies, which really drives home the Halloween concept even further. And similarly, the whisper chanting kind of sounds a bit like you're being chased by something that you can't see. At least that's the vibe I'm getting. And I just think that that's really, really neat. Also, all of the members deliver their lines with so much comedic reflection in their voice. Like, the mock horror is so perfect, especially Joy. Whenever she does these oh my god parts, she sounds so good. Number 7, Be Natural, featuring Taeyang. I'm pretty sure it is rather well known that this is actually a cover of SES's version of the same song. And I have to admit, I prefer that version ever so slightly, mainly because of the rap part. Not only do I think the original rapper matches the voices of the original singers a little bit better, but also what I really like is if you pay close attention to the rap in the original, I think it's Bada who does some sort of background vocals during the latter part of the rap, and I just think that ties in the rap a little bit more neatly, more nicely into the rest of the song. That being said, Red Velvet is just so good at this type of song, at this particular sound, especially Silky's voice fits it so well. It makes the song sound positively intriguing. And I also really, really love how the different instruments are so well isolated. Number 6, Russian Roulette. This was actually the first Red Velvet song I've ever listened to, and in general, one of my first, 10 K-pop songs. I had a crazy good start, didn't I? This is just peak K-pop, and I love it so much. The song is too catchy for its own good. It took me like 4 times before I even noticed that there was something off happening in the music video, and if you can distract me that much from that amount of murder, you have to be a good song. Also, once again, the line delivery is absolutely stellar. I especially love Joy's little oh yeah parts. They're just, there's so much, attitude in those little ad-libs. I adore them. Number 5, Peekaboo. This is Yeri's song for me. Her tone and delivery fit everything perfectly. Also, Irene's oh gosh at the beginning is so satisfying. I just love how creepy all of this is and how well they set it up. And then when the chorus starts, you have this like little melody in the instrumental part of it that is so pretty but also so creepy and really drives the whole concept home. It's perfect. I also really love the like witchy laugh that fits the storytelling so well. There's also a really satisfying build up before the final section of the song, and the final peekaboo sounds so creepy too. It's just, it's so satisfying. Number 4, Rookie. I really disliked this song initially because of the repetitiveness, and the pronunciation threw me off a little bit. But once I got used to that, the song became one of my favorites. I always sing and dance along to it nowadays, actually. Also, Solgay's just unbeatable in this song for me. She just has the certain je ne sais quoi. I have no better way to describe this, and I've mentioned this before. Seogi Bridges are like the best thing in the world. It sounds so great. I love everything about it. I love how K-poppy this is, I love how campy this is, I love how catchy it is. Just Rookie is such a nice song. Number 3, Red Flavor. This was actually my second ever Red Velvet song. I listened to this and Russian Roulette on the same day, one right after the other. And I love everything about this song, and about the music video, and the fact that they interview fruits, and that it looks like a home shopping channel, and Joy's red hair and the dance. And I love Wendy's final line when she does the outro in this, like, once again almost a cappella style. I love the fun and the energy, and I even love the rap in this song. It's just as perfect can be. Plus, it screams summer to me. All the different moods you're likely to encounter during a summer day are somehow present in this song. You've got the upbeat excitement, but the song still ends on the like slower, more sleepy, cozy feeling that you'd feel at the end of like a long hot summer day after you went to the pool or maybe a party or something. Does that make sense to anyone but me? I don't know, but I just think it fits perfectly. It captures the mood perfectly, and that is why for once I'm even including considerations other than just the music, because Red Flavor to me is like the perfect summer song in its entire identity, and I love it so very, very much. Number 2, Zimzalabim. Listen, when I first heard this song, I hated it, for the most part. There were a couple things I always loved about the song. Wendy's Are You Ready For This? And Joy's absolutely heavenly 1,000 out of 10 points bridge. But I didn't get the song as a whole, and then someday I watched the performance music video called Dance Thingy, and ever since I've been a part of this Zimzalabim cult, I just love this so freaking much. It's like the whole song is the entire amusement park made music, and every single time I return to it, I can discover or focus on something new. The song will simply never get boring for me. It's a little bit like Birthday, I suppose, and because of that, it's my number 2. Number 1, One of These Nights. I love everything about this song. Absolutely everything. Actually, as I'm writing this, I'm having goosebumps because I'm listening to the song while I'm writing this. And as always, when I love something this much, I have a hard time talking about it because I don't actually want to analyze it. I just want to feel the music. And this song makes me feel so much. So yes, One of These Nights is my personal favorite Red Velvet title track, and one of my favorite Red Velvet songs in general. So now that we've made it through this incredibly long journey, if you are still around, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I explained myself well and that you can understand where I'm coming from, even though obviously I don't want you or need you to agree with me. In fact, I'd find it much more interesting if you do disagree with me. What are your, I don't know, top 5, top 3, top 10, maybe just your favorite title track or favorite Red Velvet song? Just leave me a comment. I would love to talk more about music. Clearly, I would love to. With that being said, see you next time. I'm actually really excited about potentially doing this with like something else because I really enjoyed the process. So if you have any ideas, leave me a comment. And now I'm actually going to shut up. Bye!